Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna's advice, teaching to Arjuna and to all of us on this Dhyana yoga of attaining oneness with the Parabrahman. And in our previous reading, we learnt from Sri Krishna that, yes, let us not lose hopes. Maybe we have to, they take so many births to reach that level of perfection, but there is hope. Lord always provides hope to the people, to his devotees, to those yogis who assiduously, persistently follow the path. Prayatnadyat manastu yogi sanshuddha kilibishaha anek janma sansiddha tato yati param gatim. That person is bound to get to the final goal, to the supreme goal, param gatim. Maybe aneka janma, maybe he will need so many births to reach that level of perfection. But such yogis with the great efforts, with the persistent efforts, with prayatnat, they will get removing the taints on their life, on their all the lives, whatever sins, whatever evils. Like we accumulate the good things, we also accumulate the bad things. So life after life, we keep on accumulating good and wiping out the bad. We keep on adding the strengths and getting rid of those weaknesses. We keep on adding to the holiness to our character, to our personality, and we continuously strive of getting rid of all those sins and evil deeds and the wrong deeds that we did in so many births. Then a stage of perfection comes when the level of evil in the life, the level of wrongs in the life comes to zero, and we are now perfectly ready to reach that stage of perfection, of param gatim, the supreme goal. That is what Sri Krishna told us in the 45th Shloka. Today in this 46th Shloka, let us see that how this yogi who is on this path, who he is superior to all. So that is what Krishna says, that yoga is very difficult to adhere to. It is extremely difficult to achieve, but one who sets on this path is far greater than all other kind of traders on this path, all other walkers on this path. He is the supreme most. Sri Krishna says, tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi jñānibhyo mato dhikaḥ karmibhyaśh chādhiko yogi tasmād yogi bhavārjuna. O Arjuna, yogi is such a great being, That the person who starts walking on this path of Dhyana Yoga, he becomes such a supreme being. So, he excels all other travelers on this path. He excels the knowledge seekers. He excels the austerity-driven people. He excels even the work-related, work-oriented people, the ones who are following the karma yoga. That is the greatness of Dhyana Yoga, Sri Krishna says. Tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi. The yogi is even superior, adhika to tapasvis, those who are performing the mere austerities, sitting, standing on one leg and standing, upside down on the Shirshasana and all that. The Hatha yogis for that matter. So says this yogi who is on the search of who am I? What is my ultimate goal? He is far superior to even those tapasvis, even to those ascetics. He is far superior. Jñānibhyo mato dhikaḥ. Even among the knowledge gainers, he is far superior. He is superior to all those Raja yogis. He is superior to Jnana yogis. Karmibhyaśh dhikaḥ yogi. The yogi is even superior to those who are following the path of action. Action oriented. I want to do this, I want to do that. The yogi is even far superior to action oriented people. People who are work oriented. Tasmād yogi bhava Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, therefore, be a yogi. See the beautiful advice that Sri Krishna has given. That this is the ultimate ideal one should have. Rather than being an ascetic, being a sadhaka, or being a jnani. There is still a limitation of being a jnani. The jnani can only reach up to the gate. He cannot cross the gate. He cannot go to that mart of joy. He can only, the jnana can only take the jnani up to certain point. But no self-realization. He may talk about self-realization. The jnani may rattle off scriptures after scriptures on self-realization. But he will himself fall short of attaining the self-realization. Similar the ascetic. Similarly the man of action, the man of karma. He may be doing a lot of charities and the good things for the society, for the nation, for the country, for the universe maybe. But all his good deeds, they will take him to certain point. They won't get him self-realization. All the things that Sri Krishna has told that are inferior to the yoga as such. After all, what is yoga? Yoga is bringing in unity of one with the Lord. That is yoga. And Sri Krishna says all these other aspects of performing hardships and sadhanas and austerities and gaining knowledge and doing work, performing action, these are all far inferior to the ultimate gain, ultimate supreme goal. All these they may take you to certain level, but they won't give you the ultimate goal. The yogi is deemed superior to ascetics, superior even to the bane of knowledge. He is also superior to ritualists, those who believe in karma kanda, the inaction oriented. Therefore, be a yogi, O Arjuna. That is the ultimate advice that Sri Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Sri Krishna is giving to all of us through this 46th shloka of the Dhyana Yoga. Tasmād yogi bhava. tasmād yogi bhava Arjuna. Here he is specifically addressing to Arjuna, but he is also indirectly, through this shloka, he is addressing tasmād yogi bhava, O Satvik, O XYZ. Be a yogi. Be a yogi. Go beyond all those sadhanas that we want to perform. Go beyond all that knowledge that we want to gain. Go beyond all that karma, action that we want to do. Go beyond everything. And stick to that one goal of who I am. And get to know the oneness with the ultimate being, with the supreme being. Get to know your true worth. And then, only then, when we know who we are, who really we are, then there is no me and you. There is no differentiation. When me and my Lord, we are one. Me and my father, we are one. Me and my mother, we are one. That is the state, and that is superior to any of these three things. That's what Sri Krishna has very strongly put in this 46th shloka of the Dhyana Yoga. It is incumbent on man to choose an ideal in life, lest he should drift and deviate into an empty existence. It is very important for us to have goal. Initially, we may need all these things. Initially, we may need to do austerities, the practices, the sadhanas. We may have to gain knowledge. We may have to perform actions. But ultimately, we need to have a strong goal of knowing who am I. The higher the ideal, the harder it is to achieve. In fact, even knowledge, how much knowledge a man can get? There is still a limitation. One may be, PhD in some subject. One may be a doctorate or, highly learned in some subject. That person will know just a part, a minuscule part of that subject. In spite of having gained PhD and deletes and all those degrees, they know just a fraction, such a minuscule part of the vast knowledge that the universe has hidden in it. The medical specialists, so-called the eye specialists and radiologists and surgeons, and they know so little about the human body for that matter. The neuroscientists, the neurologists, they know so much little about our brain. Our brain as such is a tiny organ. Have we known everything about it? We cannot. There is no limit to knowledge. So how much can a person learn? So there is a shortcoming in all the three areas that Sri Krishna has provided here. There is still a shortness, there is still some kind of limitation in performing austerities, in gaining knowledge, in doing work, but there is no limitation to knowing who I am. And harder the ideal, difficult is the path, and that is where people don't tread this path so easily. And that's why we take anek janma to get that perfection, to become sansiddha. We are not incarnations. We are not the ever-free souls. We are not the nitya jivas. We have to struggle. And then we get to that goal. But Sri Krishna says, that is why such people, such yogis, they are far superior to those performing austerities, gaining knowledge, performing even the action, even the karma. As he is a yogi who is consciously and deliberately moving towards divinity, which is the plan and purpose of creation, he is the greatest among all. He is not striving to gain knowledge. He is not striving to gain any siddhi. Let me have that knowledge of knowing what is happening in other people's mind. Let me have that knowledge of knowing who will die on which day. Let me do that karma which will do good to humanity. No, these are all small petty things in this game of the divine. The ultimate is knowing the divine. Like Sri Ramakrishna used to say, know the magician, don't get lured by the magic. Know the magician. So that is the toughest thing. Anyone can learn doing magic, fine. But knowing the magician, that is the skill. That is the ultimate. And therefore one who knows the divinity is the most superior to all of them. As a man advances in yoga, his mind gets purified and thus becomes more powerful. So that is what Sri Krishna is telling us in this 46th shloka of the Dhyana Yoga. Now, Sri Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful teaching that how becoming a yogi, man attains everything. How knowing oneself is far superior to gaining any knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna's words. What is the good of mere book learning? The learned may be at best adepts in aptly and accurately quoting from scriptures. I may study, I may, back by heart what is written in the Bhagavad Gita, what is written in the Upanishads, and as I keep on talking, I just rattle off those shlokas and those verses and those mantras in the Upanishads. People will say, oh, what a wonderful speaker he is, what a great knowledge he is. But is that knowledge going to help me realize God? I can only talk. But me internally, is there any growth? I can only be a good talker studying those scriptures. And that's what Sri Ramakrishna says. The learned may at best be adepts in aptly and accurately quoting the scriptures. Once lifelong repeating them verbatim effects no change in one's life. Internally, there is no change. Outwardly, you may gain name, you may gain fame. Oh, what a wonderful speaker he is. But what is told in scriptures has to be applied to life and improvement brought in. There is no use of simply quoting this shlok from this adhyaya of the Bhagavad Gita. There is no use unless and until I put to use that shlok in my life. Simply talking about shlokas and mantras and those Upanishads and Samhitas is of no use. Scriptural knowledge is of no avail to one attached to earthly life. While just quoting all these verses, if my mind is all the time getting entangled with the worldly sense objects, what is the use of it? Absolutely, it is a useless knowledge from the perspective of God realization. A worldly man may be as much informed in religion as the spiritual man, or he may even excel in learning and intelligence. Outwardly, he may be shining like anything. What a great knowledge he has. But inwardly, it is all darkness. He may even be endowed with the rigidity of a yogi's life and the detachment of a sannyasi. Outwardly, he may show, oh, I don't own anything. I don't have anything. I have renounced everything. I am as good as a sannyasi. I don't, I don't go after anything. I am not entangled by any of the worldly pleasures. But internally, what is going on there? What is going on there? That attitude. Outwardly, he may be far more superior to even a sannyasi. Outwardly. What about inwardly? A sannyasi has renounced everything, fine. This fellow, living in the world, he may also say that I have renounced everything. I don't have even a home for mine, to claim for. It is my home. I don't live in my own home. I live in a rented house. But what is the use? Are you going towards that direction where that sannyasi is going? Then maybe yes. But if that is the thing, that person is also going in the same direction as that of that sannyasi, then he won't brag about all his learnings. He won't brag about his renunciation. He won't brag about his non-attachments. In the midst of these merits, his life may dwindle into nothing if he utilizes them all not for the glory of God, but for self-glorification, name, fame and wealth. Now a person may claim himself that I am not after anything. A person, he may be a great the person with great knowledge, but if he is not putting that knowledge to the use of knowing the divinity, what is the use? What is the use of knowledge? Ultimately, such people, what happens? They may claim they are most ascetic. They are most austere in their way of living. They have great knowledge, or they are doing all these good things for the good of people and all that. But inwardly, if their entire attention, the entire focus is on self-gratification, me and mine, name and fame. People should say, oh, this person is such a great, philanthropist. If you have that desire in mind, we are of no use. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. That in spite of having all these good qualities, if a person is engaged in self-glorification, if a person is after name and fame and wealth, what is the use? A beggar is better than him then. Then a person without any resources, without any wealth, a person without any knowledge. Now, is all this great, devotees of the Lord, all these great saints, were they university qualified? Did they have any degrees and all? No. They had that biggest tool with them, the desire for knowing the ultimate, the devotion for the ideal. That was all they had. You look at all the lives of saints, how, such simple living they had. You take the example of Kabir, Tulsidas, Tukaram, Eknath, Namdev, all these saints, they were so poor. But they had the biggest gift. They had the biggest boon of having known the self, having realized the God, having realized oneness with the Supreme. And look at their simplicity. Look at their humility. In spite of these people having learned they are one with the Lord, they still maintained that little ego, that little devotee ego in them, so that they could create such beautiful creations for the benefit of mankind. Tulsidas wrote Ramayana, the Tulsi Ramayana. The dohas of Kabir, they are full of meaning, they are full of devotion to Lord. The abhangs of the saints in Marathi, Tukaram, Jnandev, and Eknath, Namdev, the writings of the great Sikh saints, the gurus, the 10 gurus, so powerful. They are the guiding lights, and they could do this because they had realized the ultimate. They had realized their oneness with the Supreme, and to teach that knowledge they had gained, they maintained their humble, the simple ego, the childlike devotee ego, to create all those creations for the benefit of humanity. And therefore Sri Krishna says, these people, they are far superior. They are far superior to any of those ascetics, who are maybe sitting in Himalayas doing sadhana for hundreds and hundreds of years, or maybe far superior to all those degree holders, the highest degree holders, the super specialists in their fields. These people, they are far superior. They are even superior to all those, the people who are engaged in so many humanitarian foundations, the so-called charities. They are far superior. Nobody can reach their level. We can reach their level provided we have that as our focus. Instead of earning name and fame, instead of self-gratification, instead of getting good positions in the society, let people know me, I am such and such. Nothing doing. They keep on doing their work meticulously for the benefit of the entire universe. Not for, they are not mean-minded for that matter like us. So Sri Krishna says, those who are the real yogis, they are far superior to any of these three categories of people that perform sadhanas, gain knowledge, or perform the actions, action-oriented, the karma yogis, the jnana yogis, or the raja yogis. So that is Sri Krishna's teaching, and that is also the wonderful teaching we read about Sri Ramakrishna, what he had to say about such people that who go after self-gratification in spite of having all those pluses. So 46th shloka is over, and very soon we will be completing reading of this Dhyana yoga. In our next reading we will complete it, and that makes our completion of 6th adhyay in our next reading. Till then, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.